So guys, how are you doing? Welcome back. As you all know, Apostle Johnson Suleman decided to stand as shorty for Omoyele Sowore. Activist and publisher of Sowore Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, who has been detained by the federal government on account of his botched Revolution Now protest, and they also said that he insulted the president, and a lot of trumped up charges were brought against him anyway. And not just him, there is a young man too, 23-year-old. They call him the Monday, that is his alias. Apostle Johnson Suleman decided to stand, and one would have thought Omoyele Sowore would have accepted it and at least get out of that detention. And don't forget that apart from all of these huge and very disturbing charges that they brought up against him, and apart from that, the bail conditions itself says that Omoyele Sowore will never address any press and Omoyele Sowore will stay in Abuja. So I want us to discuss about this. Let us talk about this. Let us talk about why Omoyele Sowore would reject the offer made by President of Omega Fire Ministries Worldwide, Apostle Johnson Suleman, to stand as shorty, and let us also look into the conditions of the bill. According to the pattern and the traditions of corrupt politicians in Nigeria, the judge, whenever they grant bail, they tell them to stay in Abuja and all of that. Why? Because many of these corrupt politicians have a lot of money and they have houses everywhere. And of course, Abuja being the central where you see them showcase that money, apart from Lagos, they have houses there. And that is why it has been a tradition. And I think Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu, thinking that Omoyele Sowore must also be a money bag, or probably there are a lot of rich people behind it. That is why he would contest to be president in Nigeria. That is why Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu said that Omoyele Sowore should be detained in Abuja, not even his hometown, unlike the young man called Monday, the 23-year-old guy, was told to stay in his own state. Omoyele Sowore should have been told to stay where he's from. Anyway, it is reported earlier that the clergyman Apostle Johnson Suleman has said that he was considering standing as shorty for Sowore, even though Sowore had hurt him in the past. I brought you guys out, and I'm not going to go back to this. The legal team of Omoyele Sowore, speaking through his lawyer, Inebehe Effiong, told newsmen that Suleman offer would not be considered because he was not eligible to stand shorty for the detained activists, as the court was clear that the shorty must be resident in Abuja. There have been a lot of stories out there that Omoyele Sowore does not want help, he doesn't want anything, he said he wasn't interested in all of, we heard all of that story out there, but people do not take time to understand why someone said this and that. When you look at the terms and condition of that bill, you will realize that the bill condition was designed in a way that will stifle or hamper him from easily getting out of it, considering the fact, as they stated, that he met with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and they claimed that he jumped bail. And the truth is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu never jumped bail. If his house was not attacked, he would never have gotten out of Nigeria, escaped out of Nigeria. So these people got all of this twisted. So they decided to raise all the bail conditions, and that is one of the reasons there. So they've looked at the people surrounding Omoyele Sowore, they've investigated him. Once he finds any story out there and he has investigated it to the best of his knowledge, he would definitely want to bring it out, and he has to be fearless anyway. So Omoyele Sowore has stepped on a lot of toes. And secondly, Omoyele Sowore did not come out branding a region. Omoyele Sowore did not play tribe. Omoyele did not say, let us break from Nigeria because I am a Oduduwa, I'm an Ijaw man, Ijaw people come together, let us break from Nigeria. That is not the message that Omoyele Sowore was out there preaching. In the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of IPOB, I believe that the PDP and of course some groups of people in APC that are Igbos decided to stand for him because they felt that it is better they stand for their kinsman now, so as to kind of shame even APC government, PDP, the guys that stood for him. Some of them are in PDP. These are money bags, these are politicians that have stolen from Nigeria too, so they had a lot of money to pay for him to be out of that condition that he is. So we should be able to get these things. And moreover, like I said, Omoyele Sowore has stepped on a lot of toes. People that would have brought out money, corrupt people, he won't want to play with them. But unlike Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, so his own approach is different. That is why he might be able to see people that quickly come up to pay. Now, like I explained to you just now, according to Omoyele Sowore's legal representative, the surety must be resident in Abuja. So probably there are a lot of people in America, in Europe, in Nigeria that are not resident in Abuja. How can they stand as surety? Effiong said Suleman's offer cannot be considered or accepted, adding that Suleman and Sowore had once had a public altercation. As a result, there is conflict of interest. Omoyele Sowore is someone that preaches against corruption, either as in the Christendom, either in religion or in government. He's talking of transparency, and he has once done a piece on an article. He has written articles. He has done a piece on Apostle Johnson Suleman. He pointing him as corrupt pastor, fleecing the members, flying private jet, and a lot of things that we see. You know what we have in Nigeria now? We have politicians that flaunt, they go up and down showing the amount of money there. Some of them even have 20 exotic automobiles in their houses. Pastors, they do the same. You see? Now, there are guys out there, they feel that they need to make money too. The country has not given them opportunity, so they involve themselves in some kind of vices and crimes. And they also do the same thing. You see it on the internet. So that is what we have. So, Omoyele Sowore has written about politicians and some pastors. In fact, Omoyele Sowore went to Mountain of Fire Ministry. The pastor there wanted to take him to jail, and he said that the pastor was shopping for a soft landing. The pastor took the case down to somewhere in Calabar, a court there in Calabar, looking for a judge that will kind of give them a soft landing. Why? As a result of certain issues and cases within the church that Omoyele Sowore brought out. When they bring books in, they bring it based on charity that is free. They are handing it over to people to save people's life, but the book is actually being sold. So that is on one side. So there is conflict of interest. If Omoyele Sowore accepts bail from Apostle Johnson Suleman, he went further to say, so we are turning it down and we are not even considering it. The way the federal government politicized the matter made it very difficult for the bail conditions to be met. We are in the process of perfecting the bill. Sowore had in a report published through his platform accused Suleman of engaging in extramarital affairs with a woman known as Stephanie Otobo. The activist who is the convener of revolution now was arrested by the department. In fact, I like using the word abducted, kidnapped by the Department of State Service on August 2nd, 2019 for allegedly trying to overthrow the President Muhammadu Buhari's government. The activist, who was the presidential candidate of the African Action Congress, has remained in custody of the DSS ever since he was kidnapped. So guys, that is why this is the way it is. He's still in jail. Getting out of that DSS custody is more or less like he's still in jail because he cannot leave Abuja. Where is he going to live in Abuja? I don't think he has properties in Abuja. So where is he going to live in Abuja? And he cannot grant any press, meaning he can't even use any platform to say anything. If he does that, the next thing they will do is to send in the military, like how they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and Omoyele Sowore will have to escape for his life. And by that means, he will never come back to challenge them. He can only tweet, send message, print, write, broadcast, just like what they did to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He won't be able to step into Nigeria. So he knows all of this, and that is why I think he has decided to keep this the way it is. Omoyele Sowore knows that this is going to happen anyway. He knows that these people will arrest him. He knows all of this already. So I'll quickly run through the comment section while you guys drop your comment. Sowore has more integrity than all these people trying to bash him. This is the highest level of hypocrisy in Nigeria. They try to crucify Sowore. Another person say Apostle probably have a house in Abuja and he probably spend a lot of time there. So that makes him legitimate unless they have other reasons. So I wouldn't know if he has a house there. If he has it there, then we'll see about it. And secondly, don't forget, conflict of interest. Apostle Johnson Suleman should transfer the money to someone resident in Abuja. That is another idea. And I will say, even Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that stepped on many toes in Igbo land still got people that are willing to take the risk of standing as surety on his behalf, including those he had once abused publicly. But for Sowore to be having this kind of problem up to now, since he was originally granted bail, implies that he may have gone too far in his activities and lost a lot of goodwill among both friends and enemies. Yes, someone writes, this idiot called Sowore is the biggest fool I've ever seen in Nigeria. This idiot helped his master Buhari into power and is complaining. Now you know that Nigeria is a useless country because you did not win, Abi. Good luck on your master Buhari, who is better now. Coward. So that's just what it is, guys. I'll leave you guys to your own comment too. Someone says stop being petty and unreasonable. Move on from Jonathan. The man himself has moved on. Sowore was right about every verdict on Jonathan. Or you think Jonathan met global standard for leadership? Is he not corrupt? Is he not a thief? Can't you see the amount of money his wife and the rest of the cliques around him stole? It was also a crisis that should not have happened. Only that Buhari is a civil war. They both do not have any business coming close to government out. So I'm going to leave it at this. This good luck Jonathan was a crisis. Buhari is civil war. That is just what some say. So guys, if you're not part of this channel, kindly tap on that subscription button and very importantly the red notification icon bell. Tap on it so you'll be part of this channel. And